let's keep this focused. I want to talk about April 4th of last year. What was going on earlier in the day for you, if you recall?
I went to school that day, I believe. I had school, it was a Thursday, and I went to my parents' house because we didn't have school on Friday, nor the weekend, so it was like a longer vacation for us to be over there. So it was like 3, we just got out of school. We went home, I didn't have work that day, so we all kind of just hung out in our rooms. I believe we were going to watch a movie later on in the night, but we ended up not. We just made dinner instead.
And remember anything about the weather?
I don't. It was it was cold. It was snowing.
Yep. Did that snow affect your, now recalling that it was snowing, and did that affect your school schedule at all? Do you know?
I don't recall. I do not.
Okay. And so it sounds like you have a memory of the evening, the
Yes.
plans with your family,
Yes.
watch a movie, dinner.
Yes.
Tell me about what you were doing later in the evening.
I ate dinner and I went up to my room and I was gonna watch my own movie, and I watched some TikToks on my phone, and my parents were in their room at the time and my brother was in his room. I believe he was sleeping. It was already like 8 or 9 at the time.
And here we have an eyewitness. I'm assuming we're going to get more of her testimony. She went to her parents' home, and we know that she is the daughter of the victim in the case. Stay tuned. When we come back, we'll go back into court for more of her testimony.
Tonight on Closing Arguments, multiple people facing charges after a hyperbaric chamber explosion killed a 5-year-old boy. We're diving deeper into this tragic case.
Closing Arguments, tonight at 8/7 Central, only on Court TV.
Back now to New Hampshire for our newest live trial, the Bad Blood shooting trial. Defendant Jason Levesque told police that he was plowing his snow last April when his neighbor, Violette, told him not to put any snow on his property or he would kill him and his family. Levesque said Violette then started walking towards him, so he pulled out his gun and fired. Let's get you back into court now. The jury is hearing from the victim, Violette's daughter, Kyndra.
Tell us what happened later that is obviously unusual.
Yeah, I was laying in my bed and my mom came in my room and she was just like, your dad's going to talk to the neighbor about plowing snow in the driveway. And I was like, okay, and we both walked downstairs. We were messing around in the living room talking to each other, and I ended up looking out the window to see if anything was going on, and I saw my dad walking home to walk away, but I didn't see the prior situation of him going out there. I think when I was going down the stairs, he was about to go outside. So I just saw when he was walking away and when Jason pulled the gun out.
You saw the gun come out?
Yes.
Kyndra, do you know whether or not your home, your parents utilized a home surveillance system?
Yes.
You said you were looking out a window to see some of these events. Can you describe that window for us if we were looking from the exterior of the building?
Yes, it's the window outside from our porch. It's like the huge window where you can see like the road and you can see some of the neighbors' houses across the street and the one across from us.
And that's the window you were looking out from?
Yes.
Is that also a window that utilizes a home security system?
It is, yes.
I feel like I interrupted you, and I don't want to necessarily have you talk or relive this, but can you describe to me again, I didn't quite follow what you saw when you looked out the window.
Yeah, when I looked out the window, I saw a truck open, the door open, and I saw Jason Levesque standing out of it. and I saw my dad walking to the house. He was just walking back on the side of the street, on the side of the road, and I saw Jason Levesque just pull the gun out, and that's when I yelled to my mom, he has a gun. And at the time, all I could do was just run out the door. So I ran out the door, and that's when my dad was already on the ground. And I looked at Jason and I said, "You shot my dad," like 3 times. He didn't say anything.
Do you need just a second?
Thank you.
I want to ask you some more questions.
Of course.
You said you saw a truck.
Yes.
Can you describe generally where you saw that truck?
It was parked on the side of the street. It was more on his side of the property, Jason Levesque, but it was also kind of hitting in the middle of ours. So it was kind of in between of his steps, but also in the middle of entrancing our driveway.
You said you kind of have a memory of some of these events, the actions, the moments, and then going out to see your dad.
Yes.
Can you describe your father when you went out the side of your home?
He was laying there. He was laying on the ground. He was just like curled up in a ball.
And how did he appear to you?
Hurt. He was just bleeding everywhere. And he didn't say anything. And I was just holding it. And then I went to go get towels in the house because I didn't know what to do.
Did anybody else come outside?
My mom. She
mother?
came out after, yes.
Your mother, Angela?
Yes.
And while your mother was outside, is that when you went to get towels?
That is, yes.
And then what did you do? What other actions, if any, did you take?
My mom was outside yelling, "Called the cops," when I brought the towels back out. And I believe she was already on the phone with them, but that's when I started to dial 911 as well.
Did you complete that call to 911?
I did, yes.
And share with me what happens after both you and your mother call 911.
I stayed on the call because the officer wanted me to stay on the call until the ambulance and the other police got there. So they came, I would probably say at least 2 minutes after the call.
And during that time, from when you came out and the 2 minutes, did your dad move, change locations?
No, he was just facing the snowbank and just curled up in a ball still.
On the ground?
Yes.
And you said that the police arrived some 2 minutes later,
Yes.
by your estimate. Can you just briefly describe for us what happens next?
Yeah, my dad was laying there, and that's when one of the cops came up and they took off his shirt, ripped it off, and the ambulance were putting him on one of those chairs to put him in the ambulance.
Did you observe for a period of time officers and the EMTs attempting to treat your dad?
No, not much afterwards.
And then after you were outside, can you tell us what other contact you may have had with police officers or law enforcement investigating this?
I don't think I had contact other than when one cop came in my house to ask, like, questions about what happened and asked if we had camera footage and all that.
Do you know whether or not you viewed or officers viewed the footage and whether that was turned over to?
Yes, it was turned over that night. My mother handed over my dad's phone.
Some of the events that you have described, do you believe they were captured on the video, the home surveillance system?
I do.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, I would like to reorient and perhaps Attorney Sistian and Mr. Levesque would like to reorient if we could have a few minutes. I'll say that this is the bane of my existence. We'll move it forward, and if the court can inquire whether there are any issues with the view of it, we'll try and accommodate it. Could you give us a minute?
All right, let's bring in criminal defense attorney Marie Pereira and former deputy public defender Philip Dubé. Marie, let me start with you. So there we heard it. This is the daughter of the victim testifying that the defendant shot her father, the victim in the case, and she saw him curled up in a ball. How do you defend this? What do you think will come out in terms of trying to prove he did not do this?
So you want me to put my defense attorney hat on?
Yes,
okay.
Please.
All right. I have to say that they have to prove the defendant was reasonably afraid of him. That even though it seemed like he was walking towards him without any gun in his hand, there was a fear in the defendant's heart that was reasonable. Maybe there was acrimony between them before. Maybe there's a difference in their sizes, and defendant was reasonably afraid that the victim was going to beat the hell out of him. There has to be the reasonableness of it, although I don't see it. And I'm concerned that the defense attorney, I don't know if I heard him wrong. He said Kyle got what he had coming to him. He had a heart full of hate and a brain bathed in rage. I don't know if that was the right thing for him to do, even to set up the self-defense, but I'll let Philip take it from there since he's the expert in the defense attorney situation.
And I have to say, those words, a lot of viewers have piped up on social media and said, there has to be more to the story. There had to have been bad blood. There had to have been some reason that this happened. So Philip, weigh in, also taking into account the only way we're really gonna know the reasonable fear or if he was reasonably afraid is to hear from the defendant himself.
Or if he gave a recorded statement to the cops and relayed all that, and maybe it was all videotaped. And sometimes the credibility and believability of a defendant is based on those pre-recorded interviews, and anything and everything he will have to say will have already been presented through the prosecution. You don't need to put him on at that point. If he says he was in fear, victim threatened him with a gun, even though he didn't see a gun, he knew that he was in fact a marksman and a sharpshooter and had guns in the house. He took it at face value and assumed that if he didn't take the next step, Kyle would be the last man standing. And he took that first step. Now, obviously, he didn't kill him. It's an attempt murder, so it doesn't necessarily show that he had an intent to kill on his mind, but instead he only had the intent to thwart or parry any type of lethal blows that could be coming at him. And as far as the daughter goes, there's an obvious sort of bias because dad is the named victim, not to mention she didn't see the whole thing.
Well,
she didn't see what led up to it.
And we're about to see some videos, so we're going to see what's revealed on that. But a good point. We want to keep in mind for the viewers that this was attempted murder and assault. He did not die as a result of the 6 gunshot wounds. Stand by, both of you, please. We're going to have more testimony in the bad blood shooting trial. Plus, testimony began today for a former soldier accused of shooting his wife at her 37th birthday party. Court TV's Kelly Craft joins us next to get us caught up on that case. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
And try and keep life myself. I think you just identified this as that bay window in your house that's adjacent to the porch from outside if you were looking at the house. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
And is this then not only consistent with the view, but with what you understand to be the surveillance video from your home?
Yes, that is the only one I have seen.
I'm going to ask co-counsel, if we could proceed.
Well, at this point, Your Honor, let me just it's for ID, and I don't mind this being stricken all the way. I want this as a full exhibit.
Great.
So is it agreement this is now a full exhibit? Yes?
It's a full exhibit.
Very good. This will be marked as State's Exhibit 2 as a full exhibit.
Could we play?
You're allowed to play, yeah. Fast forward.
Start at the beginning, please.
Thank you, whoever did that.
You recognize that vehicle that just came into view from right to left?
I do, yes.
What is that vehicle?
I believe that is Jason's truck.
Can you identify the house on the far side of this driveway in the foreground?
Yes, I can.
Whose house is that?
That is Jason's house.
At 41?
Yes.
All right, we do need to take a break. You can see the video from the day of the shooting. It's dark. It's a little hard to hear anything, but we're going to zip through some of that quiet space where we hear nothing and take a break. When we come back, we'll get you back in to the courtroom for more.
It's a whodunit Hollywood story.
Monica Cimentelli is accused of plotting to kill her husband.
Celebrity hairstylist Fabio Cimentelli.
The celebrity stylist murder trial. Today, only on Court TV.
Tonight on Closing Arguments, multiple people facing charges after a hyperbaric chamber explosion killed a 5-year-old boy. We're diving deeper into this tragic case.
Closing Arguments, tonight at 8, 7 Central, only on Court TV.
Back now to New Hampshire, where we've been watching testimony in the bad blood shooting trial. Defendant Jason Levesque is facing multiple charges, including attempted murder connected to the shooting of his neighbor, Kyle Violette. Prosecutors say the shooting stemmed from an altercation over snow plowing. The shooting did leave Violette severely injured. Let's get back into the courtroom now. The jury is hearing from Violette's daughter as she walks them through surveillance video from the day of the shooting.
You had said that earlier that you were able to see essentially Jason get out of his truck. Are you able to identify his door opening in this image?
I do not. When I was watching further to the right-hand side of the window, so I was seeing the very...
Can you play? Can you stop it? And who is this who just left, apparently, your home?
Dad.
And now in the left-hand image, and it may require you to move forward, are you able to identify Mr. Levesque in the far left next to the porch?
I was not out at that time, so no.
Okay. You said you were able to see him from the window.
Yes.
Can we keep playing?
Well, there he goes. I don't know, he's all the way up there. You better not do anything stupid. No, he's getting drunk. He hasn't gone out of the cell. He just
Can you rewind that to... Yeah, right there. Were you able to see, Kyndra, your dad and Jason in the far image when you were inside?
I was watching that.
Yeah.
It was.
Okay. And whose voice is that in the, I guess, background or the overlay of this video?
My mom.
Was fair to say your mom was also with you watching out this window?
She was not watching. She was just in the living room.
Okay. And can we advance it forward again? What's that? Yeah. Back from when they were at the truck, though.
You better not do anything stupid. No, he's getting drunk. He hasn't gone out of his bed. He just shot him. He just shot him. Hey!
Can you identify who that is? And now?
My mom.
Is this when you came back into the home to get the towels?
I need to call him. Call 911.
And are you, in fact, calling 911 at this
Yes.
time? Okay. Your Honor, I believe by agreement, the ID is struck, and this has been now moved as a full exhibit in evidence.
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
So we're done showing this at this point? Can we all go back where we are? Is there more testimony?
We can. I am good.
Good. Thank you. Go back.
I'd like it available for cross-examination.
It'll be available.
Can we the lights back up?
If I may, Your Honor. If I may.
Yes.
So you had testified earlier that the police arrived in short order. What happened to your dad afterwards?
He got taken to Frisbee Hospital, I believe.
And what did you do?
I actually stayed at home, and my grandmother and my mom went to go see my dad.